Get ready, fight fans. The Octagon is coming to Canada, and we've got explosive matchups all night long. In Winnipeg, a massive welterweight showdown headlines UFC Winnipeg as fan favorite Gilbert Burns steps into the cage against the surging Mike Malott. Burns, a former title challenger, is looking to prove he still has what it takes. But Malott, fighting in his home country, is riding a wave of momentum and aims to solidify his place among the elite. Can Burns recapture his championship form, or will Malott put on a show for the Canadian crowd?
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to hold it with one hand? The PopSockets Pop Grip gives you a secure grip, works as a phone stand, and even lets you swap the top for a fresh new look. Simple, useful, and perfect for everyday phone use. Click the link in the comments to grab yours on Amazon.
But the fight world is never still, and devastating news strikes as former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz has been forced out of his UFC 328 rematch against Bogdan Guskov due to a torn meniscus. After a tough stretch of injuries, Blachowicz was aiming to finish his career on his own terms, but this setback throws a wrench into those plans. We'll break down the impact of this withdrawal and what it means for Guskov and the division. And the crossover dream matchups continue to be a hot topic. Olympic champion Kyle Snyder, a dominant force in wrestling, is now open to facing UFC stars. He's revealed one specific UFC champion he'd love to test his skills against, and also discuss the possibility of a future bout with fellow Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson. We'll dive into Snyder's surprising comments and who he has in his sights. Plus, we've got your complete UFC Winnipeg fight card breakdown and best bets. From the main event clash between Gilbert Burns and Mike Malott to every preliminary bout, we'll give you the inside scoop on who to watch and how to bet. Don't miss any of the action. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single second. UFC returns to Winnipeg tonight, with a stacked card headlined by a welterweight showdown between Gilbert Burns and Mike Malott. The action kicks off at 5 p.m. ET with preliminary bouts on Paramount+, followed by the highly anticipated main card at 8 p.m. ET, also streaming exclusively on Paramount+. Fans at the Canada Life Centre are in for a treat, as the main card features a thrilling welterweight clash between the seasoned Gilbert Burns and the dangerous Mike Malott. The co-main event sees Kyler Phillips step into the octagon against Charles Jourdain. Also on the main card, Mandel Nallo faces Jai Herbert, Jasmine Jasudavicius takes on Karine Silva, and Thiago Moises is set to battle Gage Young. The preliminary card promises fireworks as well, with Denis Buzukja meeting Marcio Barbosa, Julian Leblanc clashing with Robert Valentin, Tanner Boser going head-to-head with Gokhan Sarakam, Melissa Croden facing Daria Zelezniakova, and J.J. Aldrich competing against Jamie Lynn Horth. Kicking off the preliminary fights is John Castanda versus Mark Vologden. Get ready for an explosive night of fights live from Winnipeg. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz has been forced to withdraw from his scheduled rematch against Bogdan Guskov at UFC 328 on May 9th. The Polish powerhouse announced the devastating news via Instagram, citing a torn meniscus sustained during his final sparring session. Blachowicz, 43, expressed immense frustration and disappointment, stating that the injury occurred in a wrong position and a kick to the knee. This withdrawal marks another significant setback for the veteran fighter, who has battled a string of injuries in recent years, including a neck issue in 2022 and a severe double shoulder injury in 2024. These health problems have limited his activity, with only 3 fights since 2023, and have impacted his win-loss record, going 0-1 during that period. The highly anticipated rematch against Guskov, which followed their draw at UFC 323, was seen as a crucial step for Blachowicz to finish things on my own terms. His career record stands at 29-11-2 overall and 12-8 in the UFC. Blachowicz held the light heavyweight title from 2020 to 2021, securing it against Dominic Reyes and defending it against Israel Adesanya before losing it to Glover Teixeira. Despite a recent skid, he has remained a highly competitive force, including a close bout against current champion Carlos Ulberg. The severity of a torn meniscus typically requires a rehabilitation period of 2 to 6 months, raising questions about Blachowicz's ability to return and compete effectively in the demanding UFC landscape. As of now, there has been no official word on whether Bogdan Guskov will remain on the UFC 328 card. Olympic wrestling champion Kyle Snyder has revealed a shift in his stance on crossover matches with UFC fighters, pinpointing UFC middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev as a highly anticipated potential opponent. While previously uninterested in such bouts, Snyder, preparing for the World Championships, sees Chimaev as a compelling challenge due to his strong wrestling background, evidenced by clips of him sparring with elite wrestlers like Abdulrashid Sajalev. Snyder admires Chimaev's fearless and aggressive fighting style, believing it would translate into an exciting wrestling contest. Currently, Chimaev is preparing for his title defense against Sean Strickland in May. Beyond Chimaev, Snyder also expressed interest in facing NCAA champion Wyatt Hendrickson and 2020 Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson under the Reality Fighting Championship, RAF banner. However, Snyder notes that a match against Steveson or Hendrickson would require him to gain significant weight, as his international wrestling career is at the 97 kg division, while they compete at heavyweight. The timing of these potential matchups is also a crucial factor, needing to align with his commitments to making the U.S. World Wrestling Team and competing in the World Championships later this year. Snyder sees RAF as an ideal platform to facilitate these unique crossover opportunities, allowing him to test himself against top talent while staying focused on his ultimate goal of another Olympic gold medal in 2028. UFC is set to make its return to Winnipeg this Saturday with a stacked 13-fight card, headlined by a highly anticipated showdown between Canadian phenom Mike Malott and veteran Gilbert Burns. The event kicks off at 5 p.m. ET on Paramount Plus with the preliminary bouts, followed by the main card at 8 p.m. ET. Malott, riding a 3-fight win streak including a recent victory over Kevin Holland, enters the octagon as a significant favorite at -330 against a declining 40-year-old Gilbert Burns, who has dropped his last 4 outings. Despite a previous stumble against Neil Magny, where he gassed out after a dominant start, Malott has shown significant improvement and is expected to handle Burns. A compelling bet suggested for this matchup is a same-game parlay of Malott to win and the fight to go into the second round, priced at -105. This wager anticipates Burns' veteran resilience to see out the first round before Malott's cardio and pressure take over. In another intriguing bantamweight contest, Charles Jourdain makes his debut in the new division after campaigning at lightweight. Jourdain, known for his lethal front headlock series and 2 consecutive submission wins, faces a tough grappler in his opponent who has never been submitted. However, Jourdain's size advantage in this new weight class is expected to play a role. A strong prediction for this bout is Jourdain winning by decision at +195, given his opponent's tendency to go the distance. Elsewhere on the card, the report offers several other expert picks. Mandel Nallo by KO TKO, +235. Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision, -140. Gage Young by decision, +205. Marcio Barbosa wins in under 1.5 rounds, +235. Julian Leblanc moneyline, +128. Gawkin Sarakam moneyline, -160. The Melissa Croden versus Daria Zheleznyakova fight goes the distance, -180. The Mitch Raposo versus Alan Nascimento fight goes the distance, -135. JJ Aldrich by decision, +185. And the John Castanda versus Mark Vologden fight goes to decision, -140. The bout between Jamie Suraj and John Yannis is listed as a pass. The insights come from Erich Richter, a noted MMA bettor with a strong track record, particularly in player props during the football season, boasting a 30.15% return on investment since 2022.